Hello everyone, welcome to Ferdinand tutorials. I hope you're good. Yeah, in this video I just want to take you around about my 6 months experience as a National Youth Service corps member. It has not been the best of experience. There are many stuff that I've regretted doing, or even if I start again I won't do the same again. So I just want to share the experience, how it has been, and hopefully it will also guide you as you be making your own decision going forward. So yeah, I started my orientation camp in the month of April, and just as in the NYSC we have what we call four cardinal program, and in those four cardinal program we begin to look at your orientation, we look at your CDS, which is Community Development Service. We begin to look at your place of primary assignment, and then your passing out. Passing out is the one that comes last. You start with the orientation, which is 3 weeks. You go to a camp, you stay there, you learn the routine of NYSC, like everything you should know going forward. And then after orientation, you'll be posted to a particular place in the state to do your primary assignment. It can be in an institution, it can be in a secondary school, in the industry, any workplace that is related to the course you studied in the university. So when you are there, you start serving, right? And then once every week you go for your CDS program. So for me now, I do my CDS every Wednesday. If you watched my initial video that I released first about my NYSC, you would have seen where I mentioned my CDS group. I actually I volunteer as a Red Cross member, and in that Red Cross member, every Wednesday we usually have our meetings, and in those meetings we usually talk about how can we help our society, how can we impact our community. We try as much as possible to carry out projects. In our last project that we carried out, it was more like a cholera outreach. We went to a secondary school here in the state that I'm serving, and then when we went there, we talked to the students, and then try as much as possible to talk about the disease, how the disease spread, how to prevent the cholera disease outbreak. At the end of the day, we even have to give them sanitizer and all those things. So as a CDS group, what we usually do is that we try as much as possible to think out course that will benefit our society. Since we'll be serving here for 1 year, so why not help the society as much as we can for the little time we'll be staying here. That's what CDS is all about. As a group, we have different CDS group. We have road safety, we have medical, we have charity, Red Cross, a lot of them. So each CDS group, what they usually do is that they try as much as possible to promote the cause of the society, just as I've been talking about Red Cross. Every month we usually go for outreach monthly. So the same as other CDS group, monthly they can go for their outreach, maybe in the market or in the school or anywhere, just to talk about one or two things that are affecting the society and how they can come in to help out. So that is what it is. So CDS is an important program in the NYSC. It's compulsory. You must belong to a CDS group, you must join one, and you must be very, very active. So that is that of about CDS group. Now the next cardinal program there is your place of primary assignment, which is where I want to talk more. In my primary assignment, I'm actually volunteering in a particular school where I teach high school students. As much as I teach, I also conduct laboratory works, that's practicals, for the young students. And then it happens Monday to Friday. I'm actually volunteering in a public school. As a public school, they don't usually give you funds, what we call stipends. They don't give it to you. It's as if you're working for the government. And in this part of the world, when you're working for the government, you know what it simply means. So so that's what it is. We work and then work no pay. That's the definition. So we do it as more like a service to the nation, right? And if you'll be serving in no distant time, in private school, actually private school usually give stipend. They usually pay you, and as much as they pay you have to also work for the money. So I don't know if you've not gone for NYSC, which one would you like to serve? Like to volunteer for public school or a private school? And if you are a corps member, are you happy that you're actually volunteering for a private school or a public school, or you are just okay with anyone they give you? I want you to answer in the comment section. So in my place of primary assignment, I usually teach high school students, and it's actually an interesting experience because as you can see in my video, I love teaching. It's something that I'm so proud of. It's something that I'm happy to do anytime, any day. So I see it as an opportunity to engage with these young ones, see ways to guide them, share my experience, teach them what I'm there for, not just the concept of the course I'm teaching or subject I'm teaching, but look for a way to motivate and guide them through the way I live and all that. So it's been an awesome experience. Another thing I want to talk about is the living expenses. Living as a core member is actually not easy. Looking at the fact that every month the government pay you a stipend of 33,000 naira, and that 33,000 naira is not compared to the amount you can survive with monthly. So most of the time you try to take in into your personal funds to manage yourself and all those things. So it's actually not easy surviving in this part of the world, especially when you are an NYSC core member and then you are not working an extracurricular work. So for me now, what I do is that I try as much as possible to engage in a tutorial work, offline tutorial. I teach our lesson centers, JAM students, post-UTME students, SSC students. So I try as much as possible to look for opportunities around me, and then I engage in those classes. When I teach, I try as much as possible to secure funds, to help offset my bills and all those things. So it's actually an interesting plan. And for a prospective core member, after your orientation service, you begin to find out that you might not know anywhere in the state. So the question is, how do you get a good accommodation, and then how do you try as much as possible to know the best place for you? So my advice is, try to know your PPA. Let your PPA be the deciding factor of where you get your accommodation. Don't get accommodation first before PPA, because it might affect your program. So you need to know your PPA if it's in a secondary school or a primary school or in an industry or even a university or the local government. So know where it is. Try as much as possible to get an accommodation that is closer there. So when you have an accommodation that is closer to your PPA, because this PPA is something that you'll be doing every blessed day for a whole year, you don't want to get an accommodation where the transport fare is much, for you and all those things. So you try to get an accommodation that is closer to your PPA. And then when you get it, you can now, manage your living expenses and all those things. So it's an interesting experience. And if I'm given the opportunity to do it again, I will do NYSC again. You understand? It has taught me a lot. I've met people, and I've learned a whole lot, while doing this. So it's an interesting experience, and it has also given me time, to think about the brand, think about the career, after this NYSC, what next? It's a very important question, that we must all answer. And yeah, I'm glad, for where I am. So this is 6 months. We'll see again, in 1 year. We'll talk about this NYSC again in 1 year, and then look at the achievements, what we've done. A whole lot we've achieved, a whole lot we've done, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm sincerely grateful to God Almighty. So thank you for watching this video. I will see you again in my next video, and bye for now.